Shiro! A young girl dressed as a shrine maiden shrieked as the horned owl soared through the temple's paper screen like it was snowfall. His talons groaned deep frown within the wooden floorboards as he craned widely towards the window, feathers bristling with the unnatural agency. Monoko stumbled after him, after small hands grasping at the empty air as he evaded capture with frantic wind beats that sent charismatic scrolls fluttering to the ground like dying moths. What's wrong? She barely had time to register the clatter of wooden handles before her father's broad frame filled the doorway. What's going on in here? Thori's deep voice cut through the chaos. Shiro let out an eerie screech, his amber eyes blown wide with panic. Madoka whirled towards her father, her charismatic robes wimping around her ankles. Papa, Shiro's trying to escape. Toki hurried over towards the window, his large hands gently cupping Shiro and his firm pressure enough to keep the panicked owl grounded, but not enough to hurt it. Easy there, boy, he muttered, voice low and steady. His fingers traced the bird's trembling spine, feeling the erotic pulse beneath snowy feathers. What's gotten into you? He questioned, but the bird continued to stare longingly at the window. Outside, the blizzard howled like a wounded beast, snowflakes slashing sideways against the glass, not just heavy snowfall. This was unusual. Now, snowstorms was common in Katsuhana, except they happened during the winter. With it being early autumn, the sudden blizzard made Thoki frown, his brows furrowing as he scanned the darkening skyline beyond the window. Then came the sound, soft at first and unmistakable, the rhythmic clinking of crystal against the prismatic glass. His head snapped towards the altar, where Otsu's urn sat beside the crystal podium she'd crafted decades ago. The thin silver chain swayed widely, the teardrop-shaped quartz at its end sparkling the metal stand and creating violence. Its purpose was simple: sway calmly when things are normal. Temple in distress, it thrashes wildly when a bad omen looms. And right now, it looked ready to shatter its chain. Thoki's stomach dropped. He'd seen that podium react only twice before. Once, when a bad snowstorm came. And the other? Madoka. His voice came out too sharp. The girl froze mid-step. Yes, Papa? Let your mother know I'm heading out. Discard this failing vessel. Join me. Become a demon. Those words seared against your ear like poison. Akaza's warmth breath against your cold skin, so incredibly human for something so monstrous. He still cradled you, his grip unsettling tender as frost crawled up his wrists where your skin touched his. You tried to jerk away, but your body screamed in protest. The dull pain resonating from Okasama's shattered arm had seethed into your bones, turning every movement into agony. The hulking glacier samurai sat motionless just a few feet away. Okisama's presence was tethered at your fading energy, and Akaza knew it. His hold tightened immensely around you, not resonating but stabilizing as though sensing or crumbling without support. You're too weak to carry on, he muttered, amber eyes zoning in on your lips. Please, accept the demon blood and become strong. Fuck you. The words left your mouth in an rage snarl, dripping with resonance even as your body trembled against him. Akaza merely sighed, a soft, almost pitiful sound before his gaze flickered towards the frozen blood crusting around your collar. His thumb brushed over the flaking crimson, smearing it against your skin like war paint. Your fragility disgusts me. You've created such a strong and worthy warrior. Akaza flickered his gaze towards Yuki-sama's imminent form. I wish to fight him again, but alas, his strength is tied to your life. He then glanced down at you. Drink Muzan's blood, and I swear on my title as Upper Moon 3, I will allow no harm to befall upon you. Is he serious? Does he actually think you'll abandon your humanity? Your life? For power? Spite flew at you as you barked at a laugh, jagged and raw. You were pathetic, you wheezed, fingers twitching unlessly against his forearm. All this strength, and you still grovel for mouzon scraps like a starving mutt. Akaza's eyes darkened. A muscle in his jaw twitched once before his grip shifted, one callous thumb pressing against the hinge of your jaw, forcing your mouth open with central precision. Stubborn, he muttered, almost admiringly. You grimaced before spitting in his face, a feeble act that defined a left saliva streaking his cheek. Akaza didn't flinch. How dare you spit on me? Just so you know, I'm willing to forgive you. If you aren't a woman, your insolence would have met an aboleration. He wiped his face slowly with the back of his hand, never breaking eye contact. The action was deliberate, almost realistic, like a swordsman cleaning blood off their blade. He then smiled. Be grateful for this, Akaza. Had Doma been your opponent, your end would have been a gruesome spectacle of demise. Though you have absolutely no idea who he was talking about, something about the name sends a shiver down your spine. But it quickly dispenses when Akaza leans in closer, so close you can see the faint blue veins beneath his pale skin and the way his eyelashes cast spidery shadows across his cheek. His breath smells like iron and something vaguely sweet, like rotting plums. Now, I shall ask you once more, Ice Flower, cast aside your fragile humanity and embrace the power of a demon. Submit and become one with eternity. You reached out and gripped his face, your whole hand covering his mouth, more to steady yourself than to push him away. I'd rather lick chalk than become a dog that licks dirt off of a master's boot. You hissed, fingernails digging into his flesh of his cheek, his skin buried unnaturally warm beneath your touch, frost blooming in jagged patterns when your fingertips press too hard. You go to freeze him, desperately, but the similar surge of winter never comes. Your eyes widen in horror, your fingertips barely prickle with cold before the sensation envelops like mist. What? You try again. This time, both hands clasped over Akaza's face, forcing your will through numb fingers, like they're squeezing blood from stone. Nothing. The winter inside you was gone silent. No! You rake your hands down Akaza's face, long nails clawing at his skin, not even leaving scratches. Your hands shaking violently from exertion, fingertips turning ghostly pale as you desperately summon the biting cold that had always answered your call. But nothing happens. No frost spreads beneath your touch, no creeping ice crystallizing along his jawline. Your veins don't even prickle with the familiar burn of the winter's power. No. Why now? Your breath hitches, sharp and panic, as your fingers scramble uselessly against Akaza's unmoving face. Your pulse thunders in your ears, too loud, too fast, drowning not even the howling blizzard beyond the shattered ruins of the meadow. The Upper Moon 3 watches, rampant, as you fumble for power that isn't there. His lips form a mocking smile against your palm before licking a slow, delicate strip across your fingers' tips, a gruesome parody of tender. You immediately flinch, pulling your hands away and shooting him a disgusted look. It seems your winter has gone cold. Akaza wrenched, seizing your chin and bruised face, his thumb pressing into the hollow beneath your jaw where your pulse flutters like a dying sparrow. What a shame, he mumbled, his grip tightening just enough to make your breath shudder. You have nothing left. No ice, no weapons, and no Kojiro. Whamp! The punch landed with more force than you exerted, your knuckles cracking against Akaza's cheekbone, snapping his head to the side. Even drained of your ice, you still had the raw fury of a woman with nothing left to lose. His grip loosened momentarily, surprise flickering across his face before melting into something dangerously amusing. Blood dark and smudge tingled from the splits of your lips, and for a heartbeat, You thought you saw his tongue dart to catch it. Apparently, you still have fire. Akaza mused, his tongue swiping the blood from his split lip in delicate slowness. The metallic tang lingered in the air before you, sharp, covery, alive. His thumb pressed harder beneath your jaw, tilting your face towards the moonlight as if inspecting a particular fascinating insect. Admirable, but foolish. Okay, perhaps you've forgotten that he's a demon and that he could end you right now, but your fist etched from the impact, and at least you got a point across even if it was futile. Maybe you should be grateful this isn't Doma, whoever he is, or any other demon out there who wasn't hesitate to tear you apart. I told you, I won't harm women. And yet, Akaza intaked sharply through his nose, the sound almost disappointing, as the wound on his lip healed before he glanced, flickered back towards you. You insist on testing my patience. Go to hell. You yelp, and Akaza moved, blurred forward as his hand wrapped around your throat, pinning you to the frozen ground with terrifying ease, and the impact the wind out of your lungs, leaving you gasped like a fish flopping on dry land. His weight settled over you, knees straddling your hips as he hovered over you. You panicked, kicking, twisting, but his forearms pressed harder against your windpipe, not enough to crunch, just enough to immobilize. Falling snowflakes catch in Akaza's pink hair as he stares down at you, his expression unreadable. You are perfect, Akaza mumbled. Strong enough to wound me, resistant enough to survive your own collapse. His free hand cupped your cheek as if you wasn't thrashing beneath him. You make a magnificent demon indeed. No, fuck off. You squirmed, hands wrapping around his wrist that was pinning you down, digging your nails into the blue-lined skin. Akaza didn't even blink. His grip merely tightened, not enough to choke, just enough to make your pulse flutter wildly against his palm, like a trapped bird. Such resilience. Just what I expect from Gojo's wife. Truly, he had good taste. Akaza's voice softened momentarily as he leaned closer, his fangs glistening in the moonlight, not threatening, but desperate. Gojo was indeed a formidable warrior, yet he foolishly rejected my offer to become a demon, to become my eternal rival. A grave error. But you, I shall grant you a gift he so readily dismissed. I shall transform you into a demon, and in Gojo's absence, I, Akaza, shall ensure your strength flourishes. Wait, what is he? You thought, shattered as Akaza's fangs sunk into his own tongue, with a sickening wet sound, crimson blood welling between his lips, immediately realizing what he's about to do. You buck wildly, shoving your forearm against his throat, with desperation force only for him to capture your wrist, effortlessly pinning it above your head, and in freshly ease, his bleeding mouth hovers inches from yours, the coppery scent filling your nostrils. No! You shake your head frantically, side to side as tears well in your eyes, whether from fear or fury. You can't tell. No. Akaza ignores your pleas, leaning closer with terrifying patience. His fingers tighten around your pinned wrist, the bones grinding together as he uses his free hand to grip your jaw, forcing your face forward. You quickly tighten your lips shut, squeezing your eyes closed as tears strike down your temples into your hairline. The image of your husband's smiling face flashes behind your clenched eyelids, his warmth, his voice, the way the sunlight clung to him like a second skin. Then Tayo, your baby boy, cooing in your arms, his tiny fingers clenching your kimono sleeve as you rocked him to sleep. The phantom weight of him pressing against your chest, his scent of milk so vivid, you could almost taste it. It couldn't possibly end like this. A sudden screech from the night air, not human, not demon, a perching, angelic screech. Then something heavily coiled against Akaza's skull, and a burst of feathers and fury. Shiro's talons ranked across the demon's head and seized with precision, wings beating wildly against the snow-lined wind. Akaza roared back a snarl, releasing you in a swipe at the bird. Smoke bomb! Another voice gruffed, familiar cut through, followed with a thick cloud of acid smoke exploding around you in the upper moon. Akaza immediately jumped back from the chaos and smoke, landing on a nearby tree branch. What? You felt an ivory arm shoot through the haze and haul you upright. The wound spun vividly as you were strung over his shoulder like a sack of rice, your vision squirming like a sprint of emotions. The smell of straw and cider filled your nose. Once the smoke cleared, Akaza was surprised to see a tall man standing with you slumped over his shoulder, his dark eyes narrowed in a glare that could freeze hell itself. His spiky brown hair tied back into a messy ponytail whipped across the wind as snowflakes clung to the loose strands facing his face. He wore a striped cape, a mono, dusted with the frost, and a grono gaza tilted low over his brow. The owl that attacked Akaza landed heavily on his shoulder, its golden eyes blazing with protective fury as it mangled its wings. Phew, got here just in time. Toki drawled, shifting your limp weight higher onto his shoulder whilst keeping his gaze locked onto Akaza. His fingers flexed into the hilt of his washina, not drawn yet, but ready. Toki, you grasped, voice raw from the screaming, disbelief warning with expiration as your vision swam. Honestly, sis, can't leave you alone for 5 minutes without you getting molested by demons, huh? He jostled, his grip tightening slightly. He then glanced over to the hulking samurai made of ice, what remained of Yuki-sama, before letting out a low whistle. Damn, you really went all out. No wonder Oba-chan Pometa was going crazy. Dark eyes and glanced back towards Akaza as Thoki stabilizes him, taking in his appearance, his stance, and the way his fists clenched and unclenched before letting out a low, amused huff. So you're the bastard who killed Kojiro. His smirk was sharp enough to draw blood. Man, you demons are getting uglier by the day. Akaza blinked, not seemingly bothered by the insult, more perplexed by the audacity of a sudden interloper. Who are you? Me? I'm just a humble carpenter. Thoki replied smoothly, adjusting her weight with practiced ease as Shiro hissed at Akaza with his shoulder. The owl's feather stood on end, making him appear twice his size. Anyway, this is mine, I take, he added before smacking your butt hard like you were a misbehaving child. Before Akaza could react, Thoki tossed a smoke bomb straight at his feet, this one laced with powdered wisteria. The demon snarled at his purple-tinted smoke wafting through the air, but Thoki didn't wait. He bolted, your body jostling against his shoulder as he disappeared into the adjustment frost, with you in tow. By the time the smoke cleared, though, Akaza saw that both of you were gone. He didn't give chase, just remained the while staring off into the distance. Thoki ran off with you. He then averted his gaze towards the Yuki-sama, his glistening form beginning to melt before grimacing in displeasure. Bro, we are just at a moment just so different, because in Akaza it's no, please, Yen, don't sacrifice yourself, and over here it's don't turn into a demon. it's like on the same spectrum, but at the same time different spectrums in a totally different event. But this week will technically consist of both Kojiro and Akaza, because Kojiro got this update plus another 3 updates. So I'm hoping to finish Akaza by the end of the week, and Kojiro's 4 chapters by the end of the week as well. If not, I will do it over the weekend, because I want to finish Akaza and get to more characters. But I've been thinking of doing different animes. So I'm going to be honest, there are going to be some animes that I don't want to watch because of just some moral issues I have with the anime or the person writing it. It's nothing like that. If it's just one, I will do it, no worries. But if it's a whole series, it might not happen. But I've been thinking of doing some animes, not all, but I have watched slash tried to watch some animes. So if you guys are interested in anything, please do comment, and I hope you guys enjoy this chapter. Bye, lovelies. Mwah.